Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Creative Stamping Designs. My name is Karen Tensikovic. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Somerville, New Jersey. And welcome to World Card Making Day. Our inking crew put together this great Facebook Live event today. Well, our team leader, Amy, did. And I don't know about you, but I've been having a lot of fun watching the videos. Hope you all got to see Jamie's and that beautiful poinsettia. Now I have to go and buy that red velvet paper. That's the problem with watching some of these. You want to buy everything. So I'm going to get started here. Unlike the others, I do not have a card. I don't make a card ahead of time to show you. I just create as I go. I do have everything cut, paper cuts, and I know what I'm going to do. I just don't put it together ahead of time. So we're going to use the Snowman Season stamp set, and I use the Winter Snow embossing folder, and I'm also using my stitch shape dies and the layering circle dies. All right. So let's get started here. I did do some of the prep ahead of time because I just didn't want to have to keep leaving my table to cut. So I'm going to start by stamping this snowman image on a small panel of Whisper White cardstock in Smoky Slate. When I'm doing snow images, I don't always like to do in black. I like something soft. So I'm going to stamp this, and then I'm going to let it set for a second because I'm going to use my Stampin' Blends markers to color it, but I want to make sure, being it's not the tuxedo black ink, I want to make sure it's good and dry. The Stampin' Blends markers, you can color with any of our inks, because their blends are alcohol-based and our inks are water-based. So I'm just going to set that on the side, and I'll put some of the pieces together. I have let me move this out of the way here, thick Whisper White card base that is cut 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2. And where's my bone folder? Just put a good crease in that. And then I did emboss ahead of time a piece of the Snowflake Splendor Designer Series paper. I don't know if you could, you could see all the snowflakes. So I have a little blizzard going on. So I'm going to adhere that to the card front with some liquid glue. My card, there's a little bit of stamping, but most of it is Designer Series paper, which happens to be on sale for this month, 15% off, and this is one of them. Just put that here. And if you've watched me before, I have a habit. I like to rub the back of things, because in case, right now I don't have any ink on my hands, but I tend to get ink on my hands. All right, and then I already pre-cut some pieces. Oh, you know what? I got to stamp the sentiment before I forget. I'm going to stamp the Let It Snow in Smoky Slate on the panel of Snowflake Splendor DSP, and I'm going to stamp it up because, well, you'll see all the layers are going to cover it. So I got to try to, once again, I forgot about having the camera in the way for stamping. Perfect. All right, so we're going to adhere. I cut some silver mats. All the measurements for my card will be on my blog tomorrow, creativestampingdesigns.com. I'll put all the measurements there so you don't have to write anything down. Okay, so I'm going to adhere the designer series paper to the mats with some Stampin' Seal. I don't know about you, but I always have trouble with this, especially under pressure. So I hope you were all able to watch the videos throughout the day. All right, so we have the one. And this one's a little smaller because it's a little narrower. Thank you everyone for joining. I appreciate it. All right, then we're going to adhere these panels to the card front with liquid glue. Again, I like using liquid glue on embossed panels so that it gets in, the glue gets into the grooves. I just think it sticks better. We'll do purple up. I'm going to put this one right about, yeah, that looks good. Right about there. And then we're going to add this one with liquid glue on the top. Actually, I think I'm going to put this side up. It's the one good thing with liquid glue. It gives you a little wiggle room. So you can have a little bit of time to lift it. All right, and then I'm going to adhere the sentiment panel to another silver foil mat. There we go. All right. And I think I'm going to adhere this one because the top one I'm going to adhere with dimensionals. Close my glue so I don't stick my hand in it. Now, I'm going to make sure I get this because this is going to be the mat for my snowman. So that's kind of how I work. I just go with it. There we go. All right, I'm going to color the snowman in using my Stampin' Blends markers. So I have colors in the paper. There's Pool Party and Highland Heather. So I decided Highland Heather and Pool Party were the colors I was going to use for my snowman. We have a little bit, actually I'll do the nose first. We have a little bit of dark pumpkin pie. Okay, just bear with me. This is the first time I'm actually coloring live. I've avoided doing this because I was a little bit afraid of coloring online. All right, just going to add, I'm only adding a little bit of color to my snowman. I watched my team leader one day doing a video, and I had never tried this before, but I really like it. Just added a little bit of color around the edges. Just like that. And then use the color lifter to kind of take it off, but blend it a little bit, I guess. Because I only want a little bit of color. I don't want it. I didn't want it solid white. I wanted to give it the little bit of a shadow, I guess. And once it dries, it dries and just gives that just a tint of color. But I never knew, I've been learning a lot with these blends. I really like them. I like them better than the markers because they're very forgiving. You don't see the lines like you do on markers. All right, I'm just going to let that dry for a second. So while that's drying, I will stamp the inside of my card. I do have the other sentiment from the Snowman season, hoping this season builds heartwarming memories. And I'm going to stamp that in the Smoky Slate. Oh, done with my blends. We'll get those out of the way. And anyone leaving comments, I will go back to read them and answer them. I'm still learning to, I'm just starting doing my Facebook Live, so I'm just learning how to stamp live and try to read comments. I'm going to try to get this straight. Okay. And then I have my pool party that I'm just going to stamp some of the snowflakes. I'm going to actually need a piece of scrap paper. Well, scrap paper I've used, a lot of times I just use my grid paper. So I'm going to just stamp them off. I don't want to stamp them in full strength. Just to give a little blizzard on the inside of the card too. All right, and then we're going to use this for the envelope. Okay, I'm going to adhere this to a panel of a pool party mat. All right. And then I can adhere this inside. Okay. This is not the time to run out of glue. That on the inside. Okay, so the inside's done. Now I'm just going to go and cut this. I'm using the second largest stitch circle die, and then I used for the scallop, I used the, I'm not even sure, third largest, I guess. Third large, that matched the stitched circle. Okay. So I'm just going to center this on my magnetic sheet. I want to make sure I get the tree and all in. And I'm just going to cut it real quick. I have my Stampin' Cut machine off to the side because it'll wiggle the table too much. Okay, in there. This, I don't want to lose that one. I've already lost one of my squares to my stitch shapes, and I'm finally going to give in and buy a new set because obviously it's not going to show up. I've tried. We've cleaned everywhere. We've moved furniture, and it is nowhere to be found. I'm going to get that, oops, centered right on the scalp, and then I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals to pop it up. top is. All right, I need my pick your tool. Just put a few Stampin' dimensionals. I'm one of the ones that Amy has turned for the using half dimensionals. I don't feel as guilty using 5 of them, you know, on a small thing, because it's really only 2.5 that I'm using. All right, we're going to put this right on the card front. And just like that. And then I think I'm going to add, this was a last minute thing, the adhesive back snowflakes. These here, they come in, there's 2 different colors. One that's kind of has a pink tint and one that has a little bit of a blue tint. I'm going to use just a couple with the blue tint. Love when they come with the adhesive back already, so I don't have to sit there with glue dots or dots of, you know, putting glue on it myself. Put one right on top of it. There. And just to give a little sparkle. All right, now we're going to do the envelope real quick. Love doing my envelopes. Start by adhering a panel of the Snowflake Splendor DSP to the envelope. This is the same as I use for the background, but if you can see there's a lot of different, this panel has a lot of different shading on it, and then the other side is just the blue snowflakes, which I didn't want to use this on my card. I thought it was too busy, but I wanted snowflakes, and that's why I decided to do the embossing. A little trim with my paper snips. It's the extent of fussy cutting that I will do live. I am not a fussy cutter. Jamie and Mary are queens of fussy cutting. They are amazing at it. All right, now I'm just going to add some of the Pool Party snowflakes. And again, I'm going to stamp them off because the Pool Party is, I don't know, I think it's a little bright. So I just wanted to add a little bit of color. I'll just stamp them just randomly on the bottom of the envelope. And I stamped one. So you know what? Since I stamped the one in full, I'm going to have to stamp this side in full. Good thing with photopolymer, you could kind of find where it goes. All right, and there we have it. Card in my envelope. I hope you liked it. Akiko will be following me. She will be on at 12 o'clock noon. She's from Stampin' in the Meadows. She makes some beautiful cards. This is a great team that I'm on. So, and if anybody's interested in any of the products, you can check with any of your demonstrators, or if you don't have one, we'd be happy to help you out. Thank you everyone for watching. I appreciate it. And I will be back at 5 o'clock today. So hope you can watch then. Thank you. Bye-bye.